Hello, everyone. This is Gruesome Herzog. My very special guest tonight is director Billy Pon. You know the film, Da Boy. How you doing, Billy?
I'm good. Well, okay, I'm a little under the weather, but other than that, I'm great.
Well, thanks for thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I was looking forward to it.
Now, as you know, a lot of reviewers has reviewed Da Boy. It's spread around like a zombie virus. That's a good thing. I'm not saying otherwise, but I'm sure everybody's been hearing certain things about it. But I figured, what the hell? Let Gruesome do it too. So, if you want to, you can explain to listeners for the 1 millionth time about Da Boy. If you want to explain how you came up with the idea and so forth.
Well, I guess Da Boy is basically kind of I can call like an engine to kind of test the waters to see what's kind of going out there as far as independent horror movies and stuff is concerned.
Okay.
I wanted to kind of just basically see how good I could be, or kind of see what I can do, and then what I need to work on and make better for the next time.
Yes.
That kind of makes sense?
Yes, it does.
Now, as a story, it's basically a prequel on another script that I've already wrote with Lee Ankrum and called Circus of the Dead. And he's basically just a side character in that movie, so we kind of liked him a lot and said, hey, let's go make a short, experiment with the cameras, the lighting, and some effects and stuff like that, and just see what happens. Nice.
Now, one thing I will say, we talked a while ago, I wanted to wait a little bit longer, but I figured, it's already September, I figured, get this done. But your brother-in-law, if I'm mistaken, your brother-in-law was the one that played Da Boy, correct?
Yeah, Sergio Gracida.
Yes. Now, you said a story, you told me a story about that, but one thing that I will say about Da Boy, what I thought was pretty wicked, is he wears the doll mask, as obviously, but the kills were so vicious, and that's what really, you don't see that in a short film.
Right, okay.
And I thought it was so cool when the short film starts and when it ends. It's non-stop, massive killing, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, what's ironic about that, Gruesome, is that if you ever spend any time on a movie set, it looks like pretty stupid and pretty lame. If you see it with your real eyes, it sometimes isn't what you're going to see like on the screen,
Correct.
So when we did it and stuff like that, I was a big time stickler as far as making them carry a real hammer and use a real hammer every time we can, as opposed to using the prop one.
Right.
We really wanted that feel and that kind of thing. And then the other thing that we did to kind of make it brutal is we shot it in a certain way, but I just couldn't get the right sound. And one night I kind of woke up in a cold sweat, and I had an idea of taking my shotgun up to my haunted house and setting up the camera and recording a bunch of shotgun blasts at all different areas of this warehouse.
Right.
So I ended up, for the hammer, when he crashes down on somebody with a hammer, that's actually a shotgun blast I recorded.
Right, and obviously, like we talked about, you don't get much of a sound from a sledgehammer.
No, in real life it does. It's kind of like a thud.
Right.
It's actually boring, yeah.
But, I reviewed it, and I've been going around and checking out other people's reviews just to get an idea of each person's taste, in the short film. And I haven't really seen anything that's negative. Of course, there's going to be negative nannies. I haven't seen any, but I'm sure there is. But that's just, the way movie business is. There's always somebody that wants to criticize just to be criticizing, just to whatever. And now you played a couple trailers in the movie as well.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about them?
Yes. Actually, the Circus of the Dead trailer, I actually get done wrong over, because people judge this Circus of the Dead movie I'm fixing to come out with this trailer. And it actually isn't. It was basically another engine a long time ago. We did it for the contest for the Grindhouse movie with Planet Terror and Death Proof, from Rodriguez and Tarantino.
Sure.
And so we did it as that, and we pulled it together. Me and John Mata pulled that together, and it wasn't even like 3 or 4 days. Same thing with Mr. Fister. Now, Mr. Fister was actually done after Da Boy, but it was done for the Hobo with the Shotgun contest. And I was really surprised at the feedback I actually got from that. I really still feel in my heart it should have won.
Right.
But it was really good, really different. But the weird thing about it is everybody wants to see that movie so bad, So bad. It's just like crazy. I've never had somebody ask me. I've honestly, guys, I'm not even kidding, is that I can say at least 200 people has written me saying, I'll give you my first kid if you make that movie. All you gotta do is, please make this movie before I die. Please make this movie.
Well, I'm going to surprise the audience. I do have a guests with me as well. There's been
Mr.
some.
Fister.
No.
Well, who is it?
It is a movie reviewer, Shar Harden. Shar.
Hey, how you doing, Bruce? Hey, Billy.
What's up, Shar?
Not much. How are you feeling?
I'm okay. My spirits are good. My throat is bad.
Boy as well.
She's went into detail on it too. She's one of those people that pays attention to what she does. You know what I mean? So she knows. If anybody knows maybe better than me, it's her.
Well, Shar, go ahead. Tell the listeners what I know you reviewed it. I know you talked about it, but go ahead and tell the listeners your feeling about Dawboy.
I liked it. The kills were good. You didn't get 5 out of 5. It's 4 out of 5 because I rate my shorts on a half scale.
Right.
And it left questions, but that's what there's a lot of questions, and Billy answered them in the interview. But yeah, I like the fact that you can't beg Dawboy not to kill you, because once he starts trying to kill you, you're dead.
That's what I said. The same thing. I mean, a lot of the kills in that, there's a lot of horror movies made, and there's a lot of kills made, and and there's so many ways you can kill a person, but a little fat dude. That's what I said in my. That's what I said in my review. And no offense, but uses a sledgehammer. Well, I gotta be careful what I say. I'll take that out. I don't want. Well, we already talked about it. But,
tell them.
But
the engine. Everybody can know about it, even if they get a free download of it.
Right.
A bootleg. I don't even care, because it's not about money. It's about getting the name out.
Right. Well, to see a dude with a sledgehammer. The storyline itself. A child molester. Whatever got his junk taken off, I guess, and I guess he's what, Billy, somewhat of a guardian or something of the. How'd you say that? He's
kind of like the babysitter for this clown clan,
right?
And his clown clan does some pretty serious twisted stuff.
But one thing I will say, what I find neat about serial killers is the mask. There's certain styles of mask. Now, I reviewed a movie a couple of days ago called Methodic, which was actually made in 2007, but it was released in 2009, and that's another style of a mask. What the hell is that character was called? I've seen so many movies I forget. I'll edit some of this part out. I think it's called Doll Man. That's it, Doll Man. And what happens is he's demonic, and he gets into this kid, and this kid kills. Okay, and then of course he gets put away, and he gets older. So,
sorry. It's not so much that our job is to nitpick. I mean, every little thing, every little detail. We're supposed to allude to what's going on, because if we pick it apart, I mean, what's the viewer got to look forward to?
And not only that, it's independent horror.
Either build suspense or warn them that you might just want to forget this one.
Right. It's independent, low budget. Okay, that's the key word. If you are a reviewer and you watch films, you have to understand low budget. Okay, you're not going to.
But with that, you guys, though,
it looks good.
Right.
Now, but with that, even though you still have an obligation, though, if you're going to pick up a camera and make a damn movie, then you better bring your best foot forward. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you cut corners and don't dot the I's and cross the T's and give some kind of, poop, then don't expect or get mad when you get your feelings hurt because somebody doesn't like it.
Right, but the film was good.
You make tripods, good audio. You got to try your best to do the best you can. Even though you're an amateur, what's going to set you apart from the other amateurs? You just got to bring your A game every time.
Right, and the film was great. I mean, I loved it. It's I get a kick out of killers with masks. I mean, if it's really creative, like Orphan Killer, like Methodic, like Dawboy, of course Jason, of course Mikey Myers. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. If it's a good story and do you understand what I'm saying, Billy? It doesn't really matter.
Totally, yeah.
It doesn't really matter. I mean,
it's always it goes back to the story. Have a good story.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
But Dawboy, actually, now, can you explain to listeners and to us now, how big has it gotten now since you've been putting it out there? I mean, has it really been getting a lot of feedback? More than you thought? For
sure, more than I thought. Like I said, it was kind of just a test for myself. I wasn't even sure it was going to go out, you know, and once we did it, I had some local friends and stuff that kind of liked it after we did a local premiere of it, and we sent it to a couple of film festivals. We've gotten probably about 6 or 7 film festivals so far. I was really surprised it did as well as it did, but I mean, that's like my poop. I haven't done nothing yet. That was just screwing around, you know. I haven't gotten serious about anything yet, so.
Well, now, I'm going to ask you a question. I know I asked you about it on the phone conversation we had a while ago, but would you consider making a full length of Dog Boy?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling you something. You do that there. I mean, I'm sure people who's watched the short film can't get enough of it. And
you just got to trust me on the fact when I say this Circus of the Dead is going to change the game, it's going to change the game. It's going to change the game. For independent filmmakers, it's going to change the game.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Ryan Clapp is Noodle Dome the Clown. Another interesting character that, like we've been talking about. I mean, the cast of characters in this film, you know, Frankenboy, you know, Noodle Dome the Clown. Of course, we have, you know, Dog Boy. It's just very clever. I think what impresses me is your brain thinking of writing something like this here. It's very, very addicting, if you know what I mean. Very addicting.
Well, because it kind of goes back to stories is like, I guess you guys watch probably more movies than I do, but what I do is I go to the pawn shop down here and I buy any horror movie I can get my hands on, you know, because they're selling movies now for like $2 at pawn shops.
Right.
And any movie, I don't care, cover, the worse the movie, but it's like I see so much bad stuff, and I always say, okay, well, where did they get wrong? Where did they go wrong? If you're making this movie, what would you have done, Billy? And then that's how I kind of do. And with me and Lee, what's good about us is we have what we call with each other a bullshit filter. And we can always call bullshit on what one another is doing in private to each other before it gets out to the public.
Okay.
So we have a good bullshit filter.
Now I'm going to ask you a question now. When you watch 80s horror films, a lot of them are cheesy. But
they are, yes.
But I can overlook that. Being that I grew up in the 80s, I guess it's like part of me, so I like anything from the 80s. I don't care.
Right.
You know, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original in 72. You think about it, that was a super, super low budget film. But
yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time.
Exactly. And what happened? It's one of the it's an icon in the horror family, you know?
It did it right. It actually feels like Texas, that movie does. And all these remakes have gotten it wrong.
You know what? You mentioned it, I'm going to bring it up. I actually liked the 2 remakes. I really did. I thought the sheriff in there puts that evil twist in the remake. Which
is good, but here's the 2 things, though, Gruesome. Here's what you got to understand, is I can make a good horror movie / gore movie. I can make something, you know, that can do that. But what I want to try to do, and this is what scares me in life, and it terrifies me because this is what I'm scared of, is I want to make a great movie that happens to be a horror movie. And I think that's what's I'm going to try to set me apart from everybody else is Mr. Fister. Of course, that can't be anything but gore, but I guarantee you it's going to be a good story and stuff too. You know, with that. So you got to have both, I think.
Exactly. And sometimes I've noticed that I've talked to a lot of directors, and when I tell them this, they say, Scott, Gruesome, you sound like a director. You know, if you have like $5,000, $10,000 to make a movie, and if you want to make a horror film, obviously you got to throw some comedy in there because it'll level it off. Because if you try to get too serious on a low budget horror, it's going to look corny.
Right.
So.
But aren't you going for Mr. Fister to be more serious, more so than your trailer?
No, it's gonna be campy, but it ain't gonna be that, like, I guess it's hard to explain, but
it's not gonna be silly.
It is gonna be silly, but it's not gonna be silly. And I know this is like totally stupid. It doesn't make sense. And it makes sense in my crazy evil head. But the story is coming along really, really good, and it's so it's kind of cool. It reminds me of, don't freak out, it reminds me of like the Lonesome Dove series, but in a modern way. Like this fisting guy. It's kind of very different, you know, and it just hasn't been done before. It's something totally, totally out there.
Well, I never looked at that the same. I mean, I'm pretty much top for Billy out.
Well, she brought up one thing before that not many people notices in that Doll Boy. There's a black puppet in there that says, hello, my name is Kunta, and it's crossed out and says Toby. You know?
Oh.
Now, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff. And if you really shop my movies and really watch them, that's why I appreciate somebody like Shar is they really get it. And there's been a handful of other reviewers, I guess about half of them, has really gotten deep in there and seen some stuff, you know. It's that's why I said you kind of look deep for the jewels. I got a lot of Easter eggs hidden everywhere for everybody.
Right, and I noticed that, but see, for me, I reviewed a movie one time a couple weeks ago, and I accidentally gave away something that they did not want to be known because, and I tried to not mention them in my reviews because I don't want to spoil anything. And Shar didn't either, but just to let you know, I did notice that. I just don't want myself to keep talking about it because I might accidentally say it. But
I like it though. To me, it's a short, and the odds are I had to buy the music rights for that Jerry Jeff Walker song, "Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mother."
Yeah.
And I signed up for 500 copies, and the lady goes, "Well, do you think you'll sell more than 500 copies?" I go, "You know what? I have no idea. You know, I hope I do, but do I really know? No. So maybe somebody only sees Doll Boy what you're talking about here, so we don't know that they might ever see it. I'm going to try to get it to sell, but you know, if it doesn't, you know, it's just to get this word out so I can get this Circus of the Dead made and then get Mr. Fister made. That's what I want to do."
Well, one thing I will tell you, my wife, as Shar knows, hates horror movies. And she actually watched Dog Boy with me, and she loved it. So there's something that you can sink your teeth in. If a non-horror watcher likes Dog Boy, then it must be something that you're doing right.
Well, now let's go to the negative of this. Like recently at work, I work at a TV station, and all that editing was done at the TV station, and I'm very fortunate to have the boss that I have. He's like the best boss in the world, and he lets me use that, you know, on my own time and stuff. But we have this engineer, and he had thing rigged up in a crossway, and when I digitized the footage, it all come in a little dark, and I didn't know it. You know, I thought it was maybe just shot that way, and I've only found out as of yesterday that everything I've been digitizing for the past 2 years has been too dark, and I just wanted to like strangle and kill somebody for real today. So it's like where I got kind of bit in somebody else's review because it was too dark. I knew it wouldn't happen because I know it was shot right. I know we checked the levels, we checked the white balance and all that stuff. So it's things like that. That's what I'm saying is I feel like I failed on that part because I couldn't trust the engineers to hook me up right, you know?
Right, but a reviewer actually said it's too dark.
Yeah, it was too dark.
Really?
Well, even other than you, Shar, yeah, there was other people that caught it too, yeah.
You know what's well, I caught it.
I don't like light the dark to see something, but at times, I mean, the way the light was coming in, it wasn't bad, but it was a struggle.
Yeah, but
now,
go ahead.
Dig into movie making, Gruesome. When we were shooting this, you guys, what's funny though is in real life it was as bright. It was like it was damn daytime, but on film it come out like it was dark. It's like it was the first time I learned that. You know, it's like kind of funny that it actually looked with your human eyes. You could read a script in there. You could read a book in there. It was so bright. But on camera, that stuff just turned out dark. It was a big, what do you call it, a learning process doing this first one. And I guess it's just a lot to grow from, what I learned from it.
All right. And see, when I'm watching something like that there, I kind of like it dark because it gives it more of an eerie feel.
Yes.
See, everybody has their own tastes and their own vibe. You know what I mean?
I like it dark, but I don't like it overly dark where I'm fighting the darkness to see what's going on.
If it was a little bit lighter, though, what's funny is that whole thing was decorated so much that everything was like beautiful in the background, but there's like so much of it didn't even show up. I felt bad that Lee did all that decorating on some things, and you didn't even see it. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, true. You know, it's amazing what you talk about when you interview somebody, isn't it? That's very informative information.
Well, I think it's pretty important to talk about independent filmmaking and learning this kind of stuff because there might be somebody out there that's got like a home video camera and they want to make movies, you know. And they go, well, can I make a movie with this? And I go, you can make a movie with your iPhone nowadays, but you know, dot the I's and cross the T's. You know, your movie's only as professional as you try to make it. You know.
Right. Interesting.
Hey, didn't you say that one of the characters was walking around with a script? Was he able to see it?
Yeah, you can see it in there. Actually, Raul.
I found it.
I did see it.
Oh, you did see it.
Damn, Shar, you picking everything the hell out.
No, I mean, I found it, but I didn't find it the first time. He had to tell me about it.
Well, I knew it.
See, but there's that's my other lesson in this movie, you guys, is that I was icing down drinks and buying breakfast burritos for them to eat. I was buying the makeup for them, and it's like I had too many hats on. And what's going to be nice when I make a movie, for real a lot, that maybe I'm a director and I can concentrate solely on that, and I don't have to get people Cokes and stuff every 5 minutes.
Very true. I mean, I've heard that story numerous times. What you just said there. I mean,
filmmaking.
Some people. I mean, I know a filmmaker that I talked to, interviewed a couple.
You can hire.
Yeah, Ben Batchelder from Canada.
We know each other, actually.
Yes, that's why I brought it up for. He was telling me when he's making the Deep River, the island. I mean, that was all. I mean, I love that film. See, I'm a zombie fan, so I mean, I loved it for. See, I look at a film this way: if somebody's going to make a film and it has my interest, you can overlook anything if you're really into the story and you like the movie. And some things that he told me last night when we talked for like 2 hours, he said, "Scott, you do know that I just got friends. This three of the five main characters never acted before."
Right, that's the same thing with mine, yeah.
Can you believe that? I mean, you couldn't tell. You wouldn't even notice. It's all about chemistry. I mean, not everybody can act, okay? I'm not saying that, but sometimes people can act and don't know it. I mean, hell, we act every day of our lives. When we lie, right, Billy? When we lie about something.
Well, I try to act like a nice guy. I don't know if it comes off, but yeah, I try to act like a nice guy.
Well, I try to act like a nice guy too. What's that?
He doesn't lie.
What'd you say?
He doesn't lie.
Oh, he doesn't? Well, anyways, but he's a good dude. I mean, I learn a lot from the history of his movie, and
well, we haven't got to talk yet, but I bought his movie on Amazon because I like to support, my friends especially, and I told him to sign it for me, and he signed on the back of it that he wants to work on Fister with learning filmmaking. You guys, somebody told me is a finished piece of shit movie is better than a non-finished great movie.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
You got to remember, though, you guys, if you're involved in a project with me, you guys are reviewers and friends or whatever, and I'm going to be nice to you. But if you ask Lee. I mean, you work if you're with me and we're working on the project, there's no excuses. There's no excuses. There will be no shortcuts, and we will do things the right way, or we will not be doing it.
Right.
And that's what I believe, and I think that's the most important thing I do. Is you got to do it right or just go home. Don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. Just go home.
Right. Right. All right, Billy. Well, I will let you go. I want to thank you for coming on, and you're quite an interesting character. By the way, what does drive you?
I guess failure. I'm just scared of failing at anything, I don't want to fail, and I don't want to be bad. I do the best I can, and I make movies me and Lee make movies of things that we think we would like, and that's what we want to see, and usually it kind of hits somebody somewhere in a special place. But I'm just terrified of failing. I'm terrified at sucking.
Yeah. Well, that's myself included. That's a human factor on a lot of people. Failure can strive you to do better. But anyway.
Well, I learned this too. Here's another filmmaking lesson, because I want this to talk on, with you guys and stuff like that. It's important to talk to these independent filmmakers. And if they hear something I say and they go, I was kind of having that same problem or something. But something I learned a long time ago is you let people do what they do best. It's like, you may want to be a makeup artist, or you may want to be a director, but maybe you're better at being a producer or something. Don't be something that you're not, and let people do what they do best and put the ball in their hand, and they'll always strive for you. They'll always rise to the top if you let the people do what they do best.
Right.
And he's great at his special effects stuff. We just brought another guy on board with us, this guy named Frank Franco, that's been working with Savini and stuff like that. So we've got some good stuff up our sleeves, but we're only going to make ourselves better.
Right.
We're not scared of people coming in and making us better, because you let people do what they do best.
Yep.
And, and all the cream will rise to the top.
Exactly right. Exactly, Billy. Well, thanks for coming on, Billy. I really appreciate you taking time out again for talking about Doll Boy and giving some lessons that I think filmmakers, young filmmakers who do check out interviews might get some good tidbits out of this interview.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, Gruesome. Like I said, any word to get the word out there of independent horror movies is a good thing. You know what I mean? Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much. And Shar, thanks for joining us.
Welcome. Thanks for letting me stay.
Oh, no problem. I'm not hard to get along with. What the hell, you know? But thanks both of you for coming on. And Billy, you keep up the great work. I'm kind of looking forward to some more stuff from you.
All right, good. We'll talk to you soon, Gruesome.
All right, well, take care. Thank you very much for coming on, and you keep on rocking. Hey,
you guys have a good night.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
All right, Kelly.
I'll see you. Bye.
Gruesome Herzog, the voice of horror.